Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for attending our press conference this morning. For our viewers joining via live stream, thank you very much. Apologies for starting a couple of minutes late. We were just waiting for the last of the media to join us. Thank you very much once again. My name is Johan Creer. I'm Head of Community Development at AfriForum. Allow me to introduce the rest of the panel. Next to me is Mornay Mostert. He's the manager of the local government department at AfriForum. And next to me on the other side is Dr. Eugene Brink. He's the manager of AfriForum's Center for Local Government. So we have the pleasure of today announcing that we were formally yesterday, AfriForum was allowed as amicus curiae to this very important court case coming up on Thursday when the Independent Electoral Commission seeks to approach the Constitutional Court to have the local elections postponed to a later date. So it is a pleasure for us to announce that we were joined as friends of the court, and Mornay will be elaborating on our submissions and the court case in general. And Eugene will make a couple of comments on the importance of the vote and the right to vote in these circumstances. And of course, AfriForum is following the developments quite keenly. We have 155 active branches countrywide, suffering, as it were, under the yoke of failing municipalities. So Thursday is a big day, I think, in South Africa, but also, of course, with regards to the importance of participating in democracy and being able to hold municipalities accountable. So I, without further ado, would like to hand over to Mornay, who will then take us through our submissions as a friend of the court and make some general comments in that regard. Thank you, Mornay.
Thank you, Johan. Yes, and welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. I think just to start off with the background of the proceedings as it stands at the moment, the IEC launched a public participation process to postpone the municipal elections on the 20th of May 2021. 2 months later, there was a report given by Deputy Chief Justice, Justice Moseneke, and in his report he recommended that the IEC launches an application to the relevant court, which is now the Constitutional Court, for the postponement of the elections, and he recommended the postponement to no later than February 2022. On 4 August 2021, the IEC launched its application to the Constitutional Court to postpone the matter. And on 6 August, the Constitutional Court gave directions for parties to be able to join the matter and how the matter will proceed on the 20th of August 2021. And just for the media, it's very important that AfriForum has been accepted as an amicus at the Constitutional Court. And maybe just an explanatory note on why or what is the role of an amicus. I think it's best explained in the judgment of Treatment Action Campaign, where I quote, "The role of the amicus is to draw attention of the court to relevant matters of law and fact to which the attention would not have otherwise been drawn. In return for the privilege of participating in proceedings without having to qualify as a party, an amicus has a special duty to court. That duty is to provide cogent and helpful submissions that assist the court. The amicus must not repeat arguments already made, but must raise new contentions, and generally these contentions must be raised on the data already before the court." And that's why it's very important for AfriForum to take part in these applications and to protect the right to vote from the citizenry within South Africa. Just lastly, as a factual background, what exactly were the prayers to the Constitutional Court? The main relief sought by the IEC can broadly be discussed as follows. Declaring that the Commission may hold a local government election outside of the 90-day mandatory period as contemplated by the Constitution as well as the Municipal Structures Act. Directing the Commission to hold the government elections by no later than February 2022, and authorizing the Minister of Culture to withdraw the notice calling for government elections on 27 October 2021, and issuing of a fresh notice setting a date before 28 February 2022. In the alternative, that failure to hold the municipal elections by 1 November is unconstitutional and invalid, and suspending the declaration of invalidity until the end of February 2022. The court to assume ongoing supervisory jurisdiction and requiring the Commission to report back to the court periodically, and an order that municipal councils remain competent until the newly elected councils are declared by the IEC. Given these prayers, AfriForum made submissions and made the application for amicus curiae, and our submissions can be summarized as follows: that the Constitution as well as the Municipal Structures Act agree that the municipal council's term cannot be extended longer than 5 years, and that the IEC must hold an elections within 90 days after the expiry of the 5-year term. These constitutional provisions are mandatory, and the IEC has failed to establish a proper legal and factual basis for the postponement of this municipal elections. AfriForum submissions also deals with the concept of free and fair elections, that is referenced within the CALM and others versus the Electoral Commission case, and in particular how the concept and the right is to be valued and applied within the context of the pandemic. It is our constitutional imperative and democratic state founded on certain principal values such as the supremacy of the Constitution, the rule of law, and regular elections in a multi-party system and democratic government to ensure accountability, responsiveness, openness that must be honored and allowed to continue despite the pandemic in South Africa. The reliance of the IEC on certain expert evidence in Mosoneke's report that the elections be postponed to February 2022 is misplaced for a number of reasons, but most importantly, that there is no conclusive and clear evidence that, considering the trajectory of the virus, February 2022 is preferable to October 2021 for the elections to be held. Furthermore, considering the possibility of further mutations of the virus, it cannot be assumed that the current vaccines will bring about herd immunity or would be effective against possible new variations of the virus. Furthermore, it is significant that in the submissions made by the Commission before Mosoneke's inquiry, the Commission gave assurance that it had made proper arrangements to conduct free and fair elections by October 2021. The Commission's submissions included measures to be put in place to reduce the risk of the virus on election day, and that these protocols were set out by the Commission. The Commission repeatedly assured Mosoneke's inquiry that it was ready to discharge its constitutional and legislative obligations to conduct general local government elections in October 2021. Furthermore, in this regard, the Professor Karim expressed the view that before the Mosoneke inquiry that we were likely to see several new variants by March 2022, and he expressed the belief that at some stage there's going to be a variant that escapes immunity, and once the new variant arrives, everyone who has been vaccinated will be back to square one. Professor Karim maintains that the best time to hold the elections is in October 2021. Given the serious dysfunctional state of several municipalities throughout the country and the collapse of municipal governments adversely affects the fundamental rights of citizens, this underscores the need for the electorate to hold municipal councils accountable through exercising their right to vote. At this point in time, the only way in which the delinquent municipal councils can be held accountable by the citizenry is to elect new municipal councillors, and within the time period of the Constitution of Section 159 of the Constitution, this must be regular held elections. It's also important to note the domino effect within compliance of municipal legislation should the election be postponed. Section 25 and 26 of the Municipal Systems Act is clear on the importance of the integrated development plans of municipalities. These plans are described as the principal strategic documents of the municipality and encompasses the whole spectrum of service delivery by a municipality. Alongside the IDP, you have the municipal annual budget. The annual budget compromises and works together with the IDP to ensure service delivery being delivered on ground level. Section 21 of the Municipal Finance Management Act, that describes the process of the budget within the municipality, states that at least 10 months before the start of the budget year, the municipal council must table a schedule to outline the deadlines for preparation and approval of the budget, and that works together with the IDP. Given the disastrous state of municipalities at this stage, it's very important that the planning phase of municipalities should be concentrated on and should be able for communities to take part in this process to better the service delivery on ground level. Given the postponement on the basis of the application by the IEC to February 2022 would have serious adverse and prejudicial effect on the ability of municipal councils to timeously comply with the fundamental and key provisions not only within the Constitution but also within municipal legislation. And it is clear that the IEC did not understand the full effect that this decision could make on the planning within the municipal councils. It's very important that the elections cannot be postponed any longer. Furthermore, AfriForum has compiled all the parties to the application for the media that will be joining us on the 20th of August. It's very important that the Western Cape Local Government, MEC, is opposing the application of the IEC, but the Minister of COCTA will abide by the decision of the Constitutional Court. And then there's a number of parties that are intervening parties. Most of them are political parties. I will just go through the names, but we have also mentioned on the slide if the party will support the postponement or is opposed to this postponement of the municipal elections. These intervening parties are the IFP, the ANC, the Forum for Service Delivery, the Makana Independent New Deal, the Democratic Alliance, the ATM, the African Transformation Movement, One South African Movement, and late last night we had a filing of the Economic Freedom Fighters. At this stage, the amicus that has applied to the Constitutional Court is AfriForum, CASAC, the Institute for Race Relations, Freedom Under Law, and the African Content Movement. It is specifically important to note that although the submissions are voluminous, I can say at this stage that some of the submissions made to the Constitutional Court does not only include a postponement to February 2022, but also includes the postponement to either 29 April 2022 or 26 May 2022. So in a certain sense, some of the parties feel that even a further postponement is available to the Constitutional Court, and I think AfriForum's submission still stands to the impact that these postponements will have on the municipalities within South Africa would be adverse and would be extremely detrimental to service delivery in South Africa. This was a short summary on the standing of the court case at this stage, and after Eugene, I will be welcome to answer any questions. Thank you, Johan.
Thank you, Mornay. As Mornay has indicated, very voluminous papers that have been filed at the Constitutional Court with various parties participating in this upcoming court case on Thursday. What you've said there in a couple of sentences, of course, a lot of work and depth behind that, and we will gladly answer some questions through you and the panel afterwards. I would like to ask Dr. Brink to make a couple of general remarks regarding the elections, and then thereafter we will have a chance for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Johan. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be doing my segment in Afrikaans, but I'm more than willing to take and answer questions in English afterwards. So die reg op stemreg is verskans in die Grondwet sedert 1994 vir almal bo 18. En dit is iets wat 'n groot deel van die bevolking ontneem is vir baie lank. So dit is iets wat nie sommer goedsmoeds misken moet word nie. Dit bly een van die vreedsaamste en mees legitieme maniere om van swak besluitnemers ontslae te raak en van swak en nie presterende politici. Dit is wel nie 'n dadelike kuur vir al die diensleweringsprobleme in die land nie, maar dit maak wel 'n verskil as ons beter besluitnemers in plek gaan hê, en ek sal bietjie later daarby stil staan. Nou baie gemeenskappe laat eerder hulle stem tussen verkiesings hoor as op stemdag. En dit is baie destruktief, dit is baie tragies, soos wat ons onlangs ook in KwaZulu-Natal en in Gauteng gesien het, en dit verander eintlik niks op die lange duur nie. Dit breek bloot infrastruktuur af, goed wat weer geld kos om weer op te rig en so voorts. Dis gebruik mense nie hulle stemreg soos wat hulle moet nie, en die meerderheid van stemgeregtigde kiesers, dit is nou enigiemand bo 18, is nie stemmers. Dit is mense wat net nie op die dag hulle kruisies gaan trek nie, hulle kan ook geregistreer wees, maar hulle gaan trek wel nie hulle kruisies op die dag nie. Omtrent net tussen 30 en 40% van die Suid-Afrikaanse bevolking wat stemgeregtig is, gaan stem wel op die dag. Dit is nie ongewoon dat dit so laag is nie. In volwasse demokrasie is dit iewers tussen 50 en 60%, as mens dink in die Verenigde Koninkryk en die VSA. Nou, dit wil sê, die ANC wen verkiesings met 'n meerderheid van omtrent 1/3 van die kiesers wat stemgeregtig is. So is omtrent so tussen 33 en 37% van moontlike kiesers. En dit gaan ook nie gou verander nie, daar's verskeie redes daarvoor. Dit is apatie, dit is 'n protesstem wat baie keer uitgebring word. Mense besluit hulle gaan eerder byvoorbeeld nie vir oppositiepartye stem nie, hulle gaan eerder net wegbly op die dag. Dit beteken ook dat mense wat wel stem eintlik 'n disproporsionele groot stem uitbring. As net 1/3 van mense bo 18 wat stemgeregtig is wel kan gaan stem, dan tel die mense wat stem, sit stemme eintlik vir 3 mense, as almal sou gestem het. Mense kan dit eintlik so uitwerk. Die OVK se data wys dat die swart jeug veral nie stem nie, maar ook eintlik die jeug oor die algemeen, maar eintlik onder ouer groepe is dit ook redelik laag, en dit is ook besig om te daal met elke verkiesings. So kiesers sê dis 'n swaarder stem, en dit weeg swaarder, en dit is bewys in die 2016 se plaaslike verkiesings, waar die politiek bietjie meer vloeibaar begin word het, veral in die metros, maar dan ook op verskeie landelike munisipaliteite. En hoewel die ANC steeds verkiesings wen met 50% of meer, is hulle steun in absolute terme, maar dan ook in relatiewe terme besig om te daal. Mens kan maar gaan kyk na die data aan elke liewe verkiesing van 2004 af, het die ANC se steun as 'n proporsie van die algehele uitgebrachte stem, het dit gedaal in nasionale verkiesings, maar dan ook veral in plaaslike verkiesings. Die EFF het ook nie baie goed gedoen in verkiesings wat onlangs gehou is nie. Hulle het baie min stemme op hulle verenig en dit maak sin hoekom hulle en die ANC dan juis die verkiesings se uitstel ondersteun op hierdie stadium, want hulle verwag dat hulle gaan swak doen in hierdie verkiesing wat seker nie ver gesog is nie, dis redelik waarskynlik. Nou, ek begryp mense se apatie en hulle ontnigtering en hulle frustrasie met verkiesings, omdat baie politici duidelik net in dit is vir selfverryking en dienste net verder agteruit gegaan het. Verkiesings het oor die algemeen baie voorspelbaar geraak en in baie gevalle is dit maar net rassensensusse. Toksiese koalisies is gevorm wat mettertyd heeltemal verbrokkel het en skipbreek gelei het en op niks uitgeloop het nie. Maar die feit bly staan is dat sekere liggame, het sy dit nou die nasionale vergadering in die parlement is, en of dit 'n provinsiale wetgewer is, en of dit nou 'n munisipale raad is, gaan 'n sekere samestelling hê na 'n verkiesing. Uit 100%, so gaan die stemme toegedeel word, soos wat die stemme uitgebring is vir die onderskeie partye, en hierdie mense gaan dan besluitnemingsbevoegdhede hê oor verskeie aspekte van ons lewens. Dit is grootliks proporsioneel, soos ek gesê het, tot die aantal stemme wat uitgebring is, en indien die oppositiepartye se kiesers ook besluit hulle gaan nou maar wegbly op stemdag en nie stem nie, kan die ANC en die EFF nog meer verteenwoordiging kry in hierdie liggame, en hulle kan maklike besluite neem oor ons lewens, oor ons geld, en dan kan die agteruitgang net bloot verder vererger, want daar is niemand om hulle teen te staan nie. Hulle kan makliker begrotings goedkeur, hulle kan bestedingsprioriteite goedkeur, hulle kan ons ook swaarder belas, die mense wat wel hulle munisipale belastings betaal, om natuurlik vir hulle eie politieke doelwitte en prioriteite te betaal, sonder enige regtige teenprestasie van hulle kant af teenoor ons, en ons minder oppositielede om hulle dan teen te staan. So ons by AfriForum glo in selfdoen, ons glo in selfbestuur, en dat verkiesings nie 'n wonderkuur is vir al Suid-Afrika se probleme nie. Dit is nou die 12de verkiesing waarin ons gaan stem, is die 6de munisipale verkiesing waarin ons gaan stem, en dinge het net vererger mettertyd. So stem is nie 'n wonderkuur vir die probleme, veral ten opsigte van munisipale dienslewering nie. Maar om te gaan stem sal 'n waardevolle bydrae lewer, soos ek gesê het, jou stem op hierdie stadium, as jy wel gaan stem, tel omtrent vir 3 mense, as mense dit so uitwerk, gaan 'n waardevolle bydrae lewer om beter mense in hierdie strukture, in politieke strukture te verteenwoordig. En dit maak die selfdoen deel vir ons natuurlik baie makliker. Dit sal natuurlik ook 'n baie beter uitwerking op goed soos korrupsie, as ons mense het wat nie so baie geld steel uit hulle munisipaliteite uit en so voort, en wat uiteindelik ook hulle waghondrol kan vervul binne in hierdie munisipale rade. So ek dink dit is nog steeds van kardinale belang dat mense wel gaan stem aan die einde van die dag. Ons kry die dag af om dit te doen, en ek dink dis die minste wat ons vir die land kan doen. Ek dink is nodig en is baie waardevol. Dankie.
Eugene, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we foresee an interesting day, Thursday, in court. We suppose it will be held virtually or broadcast virtually, but of course a very important day coming through on Thursday. For our members of the media, you're welcome to pose questions regarding whatever has been said or whatever you feel like asking. And we'd be happy to answer as far as we can. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Abongile Pumal. I work for the SABC. Are you sure you want this election to not be postponed? Numbers of the COVID-19 infection continue to rise. Many political parties have raised it as a concern before Justice Chakan Musenege. Isn't it a bit too risky? Can't we sort of hold a bit? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that question. I want to make it once again just clear that AfriForum is an amicus curiae. We are friends of the court, so we are not opposed to, or what we are saying within our submissions to the Constitutional Court is that there is a problem, that is a constitutional dilemma. The Constitution is very clear, and the Municipal Structures Act, that there needs to be an election held within 90 days after expiry of the Municipal Council's date. This is a constitutional provision. Now the IEC, as a mechanism within the Constitution, are asking another mechanism within the Constitution, the Constitutional Court, to make an amendment to the Constitution that actually needs to go through the parliamentary process, but is requesting the Constitutional Court to give an order to that effect. What we are saying is, within the constitutional state that we are currently in, it is impossible within the current framework to actually postpone the matter to 2022. I think it's further also important to understand that during the Moseneke's report, he specifically stated that he's not going to investigate the matter of if it is possible during the report, but only if it will have an impact on the free and fairness of the voting to be held on the 27th of October. Furthermore, I do think it's important that during that same inquiry, the Commission was adamant that they were ready and they had the measures in place to ensure the safety of citizenry to take part in the municipal election, but also for all the other people taking part, like the actual people that are assisting the IEC in ensuring this elections would be held safely, for them to have the relevant PPE. We saw that in early stages of this application, the Commission already made requests to National Treasury for additional funds to ensure that they have relevant PPE and other equipment to ensure that the people will be able to go and vote safely. So the Commission was in all respect ready all the time. So there is a constitutional dilemma that there is no space within the current framework to postpone the matter to 2022. And that is what AfriForum contends, is the Constitution is clear on these mandatory provisions, and it is the IEC is currently asking for an order that is not, that the Constitutional Court is not able to give.
Thank you, Mona. And I think, as you've mentioned, regardless of the legal dilemma, there's also simply the as you've mentioned, that there is no conclusive or clear evidence that that February is to be preferred. So, apart from the legal dilemma, there's of course also the dilemma that we will be when we come in February, we're in the same or a worse position. And then you also mentioned, very importantly, the IDP cycle within municipalities, which will be adversely affected if one comes to a further postponement even after February, as some parties have made submissions that even as far as May. So there's too many. I think there's, apart from the legal issue, there's a lot of other variables that that work together to make the postponement less of an option than having it postponed. So I don't see any further questions from the floor. There is a question.
I just want to refer to the statements that was made by Judge Museneki and the inputs that he got. In terms of the wave, we are now in the third wave and it is going down. When the election should have taken place, the indications are that the third wave would be at the low point, and the chances are that the fourth wave can hit us in February. So what is your view in that regard?
Absolutely, Kali. I think you're absolutely correct that it seems even that the best or the most opportune time remains the date that has been gazetted, and we will probably be in a fourth wave. Of course, you can't absolutely say when the proposed date comes through in February. So it seems that it remains also from a health or a scientific point of view the most opportune time to keep the date of 27 October rather than enter a phase or next year where there's a lot of other variables coming through. Yes, Alet?
Ja, Alet Rademeijer. Ek het 'n vraag oor of hierdie nie 'n politieke aansoek is wat die OVK gebring het nie, en werp hierdie nie skerp lig op die onafhanklikheid van die verkiesingskommissie nie, omdat hulle weet dat die Grondwetlike Hof nie die jurisdiksie het om 'n besluit te kan neem om die verkiesingsdatum te verander soos wat dit vasgestel is ingevolge die Grondwet nie. My vraag is hoekom dit 'n politieke sou 'n mens kon aflei dat die ANC, die regerende party, dalk invloed op die onafhanklike verkiesingskommissie het om te probeer om die datum uit te stel, omdat hulle weet hulle nie 'n 75% supermeerderheid in die parlement gaan kry om dit te kan doen.
Dankie Alet. Ek sal graag eers net die posisie van die kommissie net wil uitleg. Ek dink die kommissie het 'n probleem gehad aan die begin dat toe die pandemie nou plaasgevind het, toe was hulle bekommerd dat as hulle hierdie verkiesing sou hou, dat nadat die verkiesing gehou was, dat hulle deur 'n reeks aansoeke deur omtrent al die politieke partye geteken sou word om hierdie munisipale verkiesing tersyde te stel. Ek dink dit is hoekom hulle vroeër besluit het, eintlik al in Maart of net kort daarna, het hulle besluit om ten minste 'n publieke deelnameproses te volg om al die inligting bymekaar te kry. Dis waarom dit belangrik vir hulle was om regter Moseneke aan te stel om hierdie verslag bymekaar te sit. Hierdie verslag het natuurlik nie net regsargumente gehad nie, maar het 'n groot hoeveelheid van medici gehad wat toegetree het en wat voorstelle aan die kommissie. Die kommissie was ook deel daarvan, maar het ook voorstelle aan Moseneke gemaak. Ek dink 'n baie belangrike punt wat ook deel van hierdie proses was, al die politieke partye het daaraan deelgeneem. En hoewel van die politieke partye se menings oor tyd verander het, dink ek dit is belangrik om te sê dat baie van die politieke partye het nie hulle grondwerk gedoen om ten volle aan hierdie verkiesing deel te neem nie. Maar ek dink dit is belangrik om te sê dat die kommissie, dink ek, het beskermend teenoor hulle self opgetree. Ek dink die tweede ding is, en ons het dit tydens die konferensie gesê, maar ek dink dit is so belangrik om klem daarop te lê. Nog voor die hele verslag van Moseneke het die kommissie herhaaldelik gesê dat hulle is reg en hulle is gereed om die verkiesing op 27 Oktober te kan hou en voort te gaan, en tot op so 'n wyse voort te gaan dat hulle aan hulle grondwetlike verpligtinge sowel as ander wetgewing sal nakom. Menend, hulle is reg om voort te gaan. Ja, dit is waar, hulle het addisionele fondse versoek vanaf nasionale tesourie, maar dit is 'n baie groot en 'n belangrike ding dat die kommissie was reg. Toe kom Moseneke se verslag uit en weens sy verslag het hulle gesê 'n voorstel gemaak dat hy na hof toe gaan en eintlik dan nou kyk om die proses te uit te stel. Weereens, hierdie was 'n voorstel wat deur regter Moseneke gemaak was. En wat baie belangrik was, is hy het nie geoorweeg of dit fisies moontlik was binne die regsraamwerk wat ons tans het, of dit uitgestel kan word na daardie tydperk toe nie. Hy sê spesifiek in sy verslag dat hy gaan dit nie oorweeg nie. Dit was nie deel van sy mandaat wat die kommissie aan hom gegee het nie. So ek dink volgens my of op eerste oogopslag kan ek sê dat ek dink die kommissie het beskermend teenoor homself opgetree deur om hierdie proses te begin, en met die aanbeveling van regter Moseneke het hulle net sy aanbeveling gevolg om na die grondwetlike hof toe te gaan.
Eugene?
Ek wil net so 'n algemene opmerking daaroor maak. Ek dink hierdie skeppe, ons gaan op 'n baie gevaarlike pad beland en dit gaan 'n baie slegte presedent skep as hierdie verkiesing uitgestel word, dan kan dit weer in die toekoms gedoen word en dit kan die hele tyd onder die wolk en die dekmantel van COVID gedoen word en dit is, die modelle het ook gewys dat die aantal gevalle gaan heeltemal afplat hier laat in Oktober, so dit volgens die korttermynmodellering wys dit dat dit 'n veilige tyd is om dit te hou vanuit 'n gesondheidsperspektief, afgesien nou van die regsargumente en so aan, en ons wil maar net sien laat die oppergesag van die reg geskied en laat die regte prosesse gevolg word hiermee en laat daar nie ewe skielik onnodig aan allerlei prosesse getorring word net weens COVID en dit eintlik maar vir ander politieke doelwitte gebruik word nie.
Any further questions from the floor?
Good luck for testing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for attending. Ladies and gentlemen, then thank you for attending also virtually. And we thank you, and there will be a time for questions and interviews afterwards. And from AfriForum side, we will keep you posted as far as Thursday's proceedings are concerned. Thank you very much, and thank you to our members of the panel. Thank you.